It is the law that says you are the operant power. You are the God of your reality. Hey Soul Surfers, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a minute since I've posted a video. I have been working on so many projects, learning so many new things, but now it's time to film another video. Before we get started on today's topic of the law of assumption, I want to let you know about the free Recreate Your Life starter kit that I created that you can download for completely free. Just check the link in the description box, sign up for my email list, and you can download it. This is a really great way to start your self-discovery journey or to even deepen the level of your self-discovery. All right, so today's topic, the law of assumption. So you've probably heard of the law of attraction, and I used to really resonate with the law of attraction until I discovered the law of assumption. Now, the law of attraction, something didn't quite resonate with me. I guess as a former control freak, the law of assumption resonated more with me because the law of assumption basically states that we are the operant power of our reality, whereas the law of attraction gives some outside force the power to bring us whatever it is that we are desiring and choosing to manifest into our lives consciously. So the law of assumption basically states that what you dominantly think and believe to be true is what you will experience in your reality. So the thoughts you think, the things you say, all of those things are really important, even your internal monologue, because that is what is creating your experience. And you're probably like, Alicia, I'm experiencing a lot of things that I don't want, so what gives? Well, remember that our unconscious beliefs are also what is running the show. We're conditioned as humans to think and believe that everything we see in front of us in the physical reality, that is truth. But little do we realize that it is our thoughts that is creating this experience for us. So everything that you see and are experiencing before you right now, that you can use your five senses to interact with, those once all began as a thought at some point. So this is where we can use our 3D reality that we see in front of us to better understand what's going on internally. Because as they say, as within, so without. So your current physical experience is a reflection of your thoughts and beliefs internally. So what does that mean? I always say that the best day of your life and the worst day of your life is the day you find out that you're the one creating your reality. Because it's the worst day of your life because if you don't like what you're experiencing or seeing around you, it's like, ooh, I did this. But it's also the best day of your life because it means that if you don't like what you see around you, you have the power to change it. And you don't change it by going into your physical reality and demanding everything to change. You change it with your imagination. One law of assumption teacher that I'm currently studying is Neville Goddard. And so he basically talks about how everything starts in your mind. Everything starts in imagination. And in fact, you don't even have to do anything to receive your manifestation when you're consciously manifesting. Or even when you're unconsciously manifesting, because you weren't actively imagining some of the things that are happening in front of you right now, most likely, and yet here they are. But the thing to remember is that your thoughts create a mental imprint in your mind anyway. So even if you're not physically visualizing or sitting down and focusing on a visualization, the thoughts and words that you're implanting in your mind or saying to yourself is sending a signal to your brain, and your brain then says, hey, let's make this happen, because its job is to make everything come true for you. So in a sense, you're always right. That's the mind's job, to make sure you are always right. So when you say certain things and you think certain things, your brain gets the signal and then finds a way to make that happen in your 3D reality for you. Again, most of our thoughts and beliefs are unconscious. We're not aware of the things that we're saying to ourselves or, the underlying programming that's going on. So you can really take the opportunity to use your 3D reality to investigate what's going on internally. And once you get down to those core beliefs of what is happening, especially if your 3D reality is triggering you, you can affirm against those beliefs and shift your reality. You are the operant power of your reality. What you say goes. Now, where people can get a little bit tripped up with the law of assumption is that most of these beliefs that we've been thinking unconsciously, we've been doing so for a very, very long time. So this is why they say to persist with the law of assumption, because you didn't build these beliefs overnight. So affirming against them and switching the thought patterns, like literally it is you reprogramming the neural pathways in your brain. So that can take some time. So this is why persistence, consistency, and repetition is super important when it comes to the law of assumption. This information can trigger people too because they immediately say, so everything is my fault? But there's a difference. What you're experiencing is not your fault, but you have the power to change it. So where did we get these beliefs in the first place? You guessed it, childhood. So whatever you experienced in childhood, predominantly from the ages of 0 to 7, that's where you learned life. That's where your subconscious mind was active. It was taking in all this information. And at that time in your life, you didn't have the conscious awareness to be able to filter out what, make a rational decision about what meaning you were giving to things. So you just immediately associated something with whatever you were feeling, and that ingrained that belief. So essentially, your experiences, what you saw in relation to different areas of your life, such as love, money, those kinds of messages that you received from your parents or saw from your parents or society at those times or people around you, that's what your dominant programming is most likely to be. So again, if you're not experiencing the reality you want to experience, use your current reality as feedback. And the law of assumption is the law that really builds faith, because when you're making these big shifts in beliefs and core belief changes of who you are in terms of your self-concept and what you believe about the world and deconstructing all of those beliefs, it can take time. So you really kind of go in it with blind faith. You've seen other people change their lives using the law of assumption, although you're always using the law of assumption, but consciously using the law of assumption to manifest what they want. So you hear these success stories, so you know it's true. And remember, everything that is true for one person means it can happen for you. If you see somebody that has something that you want to experience, since we're all one consciousness, that is available to you too. If you feel triggered by somebody having something that you don't have currently and you want it, again, remember, your triggers are the key to your core beliefs about yourself. So for me, anytime I'm experiencing something in my reality that I'm not that thrilled about and it triggers me, I take a moment to look and say, what belief is this showing me? What belief is being reflected back to me? And you can journal, you can talk it out. There's lots of different ways to figure it out, but you can try any of those techniques. But once you identify that core belief, you can then affirm against it by writing down the belief. You write down the belief, the old one, strike it out, and then write the exact opposite next to it. And you'll want to repeat these affirmations over and over and over until they harden into fact. So I like to use mirror work a lot with my affirmations. I think that's the most powerful, especially because the world is reflecting back to you your beliefs just like a mirror. You can also use sleep affirmations. There's some great apps out there where you can record your own affirmations. My favorite is the Parrot app, and it will loop those affirmations overnight. So while you're sleeping, you can be listening to those affirmations as well. But it's not just about affirming once in the morning, once at night. Once you start to consciously manifest, it's about keeping track of your mental diet. And the mental diet is the thoughts that you think throughout the day. Do a thought check. What am I thinking? And really start affirming. Now, when you do your affirmations, you do want to do them with conviction, because just robotically saying affirmations isn't going to invoke a new thought pattern for you, really. Use your affirmations and say them like you mean them. You're actually not going to believe your affirmations at first. This is where the persistence comes in, because a belief is a thought that we think over and over. So in order to turn our thoughts into beliefs, we have to be repetitive with this until it sinks into our subconscious mind as truth. And as you make these shifts, you may notice the opposite happening in your reality as you start this journey, which is again where faith comes in, because no matter what, things are always happening for you. Things are always moving you towards your manifestation, whatever it is that you're focused on, either unconsciously or consciously. All right. So at first, it may seem like everything's falling apart, all the opposite is happening. That is your old thoughts playing out. That is your subconscious mind kind of resisting things, because you have to coax the subconscious mind to believe these new beliefs. Because whenever you provide it with a new thought or a new belief pattern, it's going to show you all the reasons why that's not true right away. It's going to remind you of those times where that wasn't truth. But as you persist and create new evidence, your subconscious mind is going to understand better. Because again, the mind's job is to take your thoughts and make them into reality. But of course, there may be some resistance at first, especially if these are belief patterns that you've been holding on to for a very long time. So another thing that you can do is look at the different areas of life as well and go back to the messages that you received in childhood in these regards. So for example, with love, what kinds of limiting beliefs may you have had with love? Did you hear love was hard? Relationships are hard. Love hurts. Those are some big ones. Same with money. What messages did you get about money? Did your parents say, we can't afford this, I'm broke, money doesn't grow on trees, money is the root of all evil? When you say those things and you've heard those messages and are programmed with those, if you're trying to align with true love and wealth, then those beliefs are in direct contrast with having of those things. Another important thing about the law of assumption to know is that everyone is you pushed out. Everyone is showing up in your reality, reflecting back to you your beliefs about yourself and also your beliefs about how they are supposed to show up in your life. So for example, romantic partners, if you have core beliefs about romance and love, those romantic partners are going to show up in the ways that you believe, whether consciously or unconsciously. Usually the unconscious beliefs are shown, okay? If you have friends in your reality, right, they're going to show up the way that you know best. If you had great friendships, people will show up in the ways that you expect them to in their role, basically. Since everyone is you pushed out, that means that they have no choice but to reflect back to you your dominant thoughts about yourself and about them. That's why it is completely futile to try to change your 3D reality by acting in the 3D versus going into your mind. Because again, everything started as a thought and now you're experiencing the physical manifestation of that thought. And you are dominantly focused on whatever that core belief was and it's being reflected back to you. They also say there's no one to change but self. When we try to get our reality to change or tell people to change in our reality, they're just a reflection of us. Okay, so we have to change our dominant thoughts and beliefs about ourselves, which is focusing on self-concept, and about them and about the area of life that they're showing up in. Every time we blame people in our experience for our circumstances, we disempower ourselves. And remember, the law of assumption is a very empowering law. It is the law that says you are the operant power. You are the God of your reality. So don't give your power away to any circumstances or people that are just reflecting your dominant thoughts and beliefs about yourself, because you have the power to change all of it using your mind. It's the most powerful tool that you have. All right, soul surfers, let me know. Are you familiar with the law of assumption? Have you ever heard of it before or been practicing how to utilize it consciously? What concepts are you interested in hearing more about with the law of assumption? Are there any terms that you heard in this video that you would like more in-depth videos on? Let me know in the comments. I'm completely open to making this series on this law of assumption so you can better understand it and how you can make it work in your favor. Thanks so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and share with your friends, and I will see you in the next video.